In the chaos of the world, your light shines like a torch piercing the darkness. Your mere presence makes hearts tremble and awakens souls. Just as Jesus worked miracles with his silent power, you both give hope and break the mold with every step. Even without words, your energy says it all. You are a representative of truth, a force that empowers the weak, challenges false orders, and gives courage to souls. Enjoy this power to the fullest and show your superiority to everyone by writing 77 in the comments. When you freed yourself from their grasp, you didn't just leave quietly, you dismantled the framework of their delusions. Now, they're spinning tales, fixated on your absence, unraveling as they confront what they can no longer possess. They thought they could diminish you, harness your essence, and make you doubt your worth. But their reckoning has come, and they're discovering the futility of trying to chain what was never meant to be confined. Your liberation shattered the only illusion that held them together: control over you. Those who prey on others' strength, manipulators who masquerade as unshakable, are left adrift without the foundations they pilfer. You were the cornerstone of their brittle kingdom, the source of power they siphoned to uphold their facade. When you broke free, their carefully crafted reality crumbled, leaving them scrambling to fill the void you left behind. But their frantic attempts only expose the emptiness within. Their obsession is not proof of your flaws, but evidence of their fragility. You stood firm against their chaos, and now your clarity becomes your fortress. For those who thrive on deception, the collapse of their power is inevitable. They weave narratives to ensnare and obscure, cloaking their manipulation in falsehoods to sustain their dominion. Their strength is a mirage, dependent on your doubts and submission. But their control unravels when truth takes root. By standing firm in your convictions, you dismantled their illusions thread by thread, revealing the hollow core beneath. Their unraveling is not just a loss of power, it's an unmasking of the emptiness they tried to conceal. Falsehoods, once whispered with confidence, now echo with emptiness. As the cracks in their facade widen, the world around them sees their frailty. They scramble to regain their grasp, wielding fear in a futile bid to hold their crumbling narrative together. Yet their control dissipates in the light of your resolve. The truth you embody is the force they cannot suppress. Every step you take toward authenticity deepens the fractures in their schemes. Their downfall is not merely a loss of influence, it is the exposure of their very essence, nothingness disguised as power. Imagine a tree planted in shallow soil, its roots unable to reach the depths where true nourishment lies. From afar, it may appear tall and unyielding, but the slightest storm reveals its instability, toppling it where it stands. This is the essence of false power. It thrives on appearances, presenting an illusion of strength while lacking the foundation to endure. Those who cling to control, born of manipulation and deception, are much the same, towering only as long as no wind of truth shakes their ground. The moment clarity shines its light, their facade crumbles, exposing the weakness they worked so hard to conceal. For a time, they may seem unstoppable, convincing themselves and others of their authority. They build their lives on narratives designed to obscure reality, weaving stories so intricately that even they come to believe in their permanence. But truth has a way of finding its way through even the smallest cracks. Like water seeping into brittle stone, it works slowly, persistently, until the structure begins to falter. Once the first piece falls, the entire framework follows, leaving nothing but debris where an empire of lies once stood. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. I've seen it happen. People so invested in their illusions that they mistake them for reality. They thrive momentarily, basking in the admiration and trust they've coaxed from others. Yet their triumph is fleeting because it's not built on substance. They thrive not by their own merit, but by consuming the trust, energy, and loyalty of those around them. And when the truth emerges, as it always does, their illusion shatters. Relationships unravel, trust is obliterated, and the power they once wielded disintegrates like dust caught in the wind. Here's what you must understand. False power cannot last because it is disconnected from true strength. True strength is like the deep roots of a healthy tree, grounded in authenticity, nourished by resilience, and sustained by integrity. Those who build their authority on manipulation and deceit lack these roots. They craft facades that require constant upkeep, a web of lies that must be tended to at all times to preserve the illusion. But such efforts cannot withstand the weight of truth. Eventually, even the most elaborate fabrications collapse under the burden of their inconsistencies. When that collapse comes, it's not sudden. It's been building all along. It's in the quiet moments when the liar begins to doubt their own stories. It's in the subtle cracks that others begin to notice but don't yet speak of. And then one day, the weight becomes too much, and the entire structure falls, exposing the emptiness at its core. The relationships they built, the trust they relied upon, and the authority they wielded all scatter like leaves in a storm, leaving them exposed to the consequences of their own creation. Now here's where your role comes in. You don't need to engage with their chaos or try to dismantle their illusions. It's not your responsibility. Truth, like the rising sun, cannot be held back. It will illuminate what was hidden, revealing their weakness for all to see. You don't need to waste your energy proving them wrong, because their actions will do it for you. When you stand firm in your truth, you become the storm that uproots their shallow tree, the light that reveals the cracks in their foundation. You've seen this unfold, haven't you? People who relied on your strength, your trust, your energy to sustain their illusions. They didn't realize it at the time, but you were the soil they were drawing from to sustain their shallow roots. And when you walked away, when you removed yourself from their web of manipulation, their structure began to falter. Without your support, their control unraveled, and their power faded into nothingness. Let this be your reminder. You are not responsible for their downfall. Their weakness was always within them, hidden beneath layers of pretense. Your choice to step away didn't break them. It merely exposed what was already there. You are like a lighthouse, guiding others toward truth and away from the illusions that would lead them astray. And those who sought to control you, to use your light for their own gain, now see that their efforts were futile. So, keep standing firm in your truth. Let their world collapse around them, if that is what it takes for them to see the light. Your strength is not theirs to take, and your energy is not theirs to consume. You were never meant to be the soil for their shallow roots. Instead, You are called to grow your own tree, strong and unshakable, nourished by authenticity and guided by the spirit that has always been within you. Let their downfall be their lesson. You owe them no rescue, no explanation, and no return to their grasp. The cracks in their foundation are the echoes of their own choices, not yours. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that your truth is your strength, and it will outlast any illusion they tried to impose. Stand tall, chosen one. You are unmovable, unshakable, and destined for more than their fragile empire could ever offer. Here's the core realization. Authenticity stands resilient where deception falters. Avoid being ensnared in their collapsing schemes of illusion. Ground yourself in honesty, even when it challenges comfort or expectations. Integrity will persist long after deceit has eroded. Declare firmly, truth disarms manipulation. Witnessing the unraveling of lies reveals a pattern. The refusal to acknowledge their failings and the desperate clinging to illusions of control as their reality disintegrates. Unlike a figure who seeks transformation through humility, they remain imprisoned by their arrogance, escalating their losses. Their actions, driven by self-interest and inflated pride, have drained not only resources, but also the faith and connection of others, leaving a trail of broken trust. Through games of coercion and false promises, they believed loyalty was theirs to command. Yet loyalty thrives only in authenticity, not in deceit. Those who once surrounded them have stepped away, weary of the unending cycle of exploitation and insincerity. The manipulations they wielded have unraveled, leaving them isolated amidst their missteps. Their attempts to reclaim control are not motivated by a desire for growth or reconciliation, but by their inability to endure the solitude of their own making. They seek you now, not for who you are, but for the energy they can no longer generate alone. They are drawn not by repentance, but by the hope of reigniting the spark they exploited. These overtures are not acts of renewal, but of desperation, a scramble to cling to the stability they once drew from others. Their downfall is a consequence of their choices, and their suffering stems from the paths they've chosen. You are not tasked with mending what they broke. Their plight is not your responsibility to bear. Let their desperation remain theirs to confront, as only they can learn from the weight of their actions. Maintain your boundaries. Their self-inflicted chaos is theirs to navigate. I once heard of someone so enraptured by their own crafted mirage that they couldn't see beyond its surface. Those who obsess over appearances, endlessly chasing validation, are trapped in a cycle that consumes them. They are not chasing you. They are chasing the idea of control. Let their projections crumble. Their chaos is not yours to untangle. Focus on what is real, what fuels you. Their fixation isn't about admiration. It's about trying to reclaim what they'll never grasp. Your essence. You're not here to play their game. You're here to rewrite the whole narrative. You're the revolution in motion, the force that outpaces their limits, leaving them struggling to comprehend your path. You've moved beyond their reach, creating a story that defies their narrow imagination. Their approval was never a currency you needed. You've turned challenges into stepping stones, shaping a destiny they can't even fathom. You're building more than just success. You're creating a legacy. This isn't about borrowed wisdom. It's about crafting a foundation where resilience meets unshakable vision. This is where legends emerge, not through validation, but through unwavering purpose. The energy you carry ignites connections with others on the same trajectory. It's a convergence of minds that don't just dream. they build. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the transitory concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. This is about alignment, not convenience. Connections are no longer fleeting. They're deliberate and potent. It's a gathering of those who recognize their place in a greater tapestry, weaving together ambition and authenticity. The transformation is undeniable. You are no longer tethered to superficial ties, but a part of a force that thrives on meaningful connections. Every moment fuels growth. Every interaction sharpens your purpose. It's not about stepping into someone else's narrative. It's about creating your own and inviting those aligned with it to join the movement. There are remnants in your energy, traces of past bonds and unresolved entanglements. These echoes are not about the present, but serve as a reminder of cycles you've transcended. Their pull is not a beacon of love, but an anchor to what no longer serves you. These connections whisper nostalgia, but they mask the chaos they bring. Their allure is deliberate, a finely tuned attempt to draw you back into patterns of disarray. They do not reach for you to heal, they reach to consume. Recognize their intention for what it is and stand firm. Their presence is not a call to return, it's a testament to how far you've come. They present themselves as a sanctuary, an easy retreat into the familiar. Yet their familiarity masks a snare, designed to tether you to cycles that stifle your growth. Their presence isn't about healing or reconciliation. It's a strategy to drain your essence and stall your progress. They linger in the shadows because your evolution leaves them exposed, their relevance fading with every step you take forward. Their hold depends on your attention. Without it, their grip falters. Their charm is nothing more than a fading echo of a past that no longer serves you. Refuse to answer their call. Your path demands clarity and resolve. Let what once bound you dissolve into irrelevance. Their power lies only in what you allow, and you owe them nothing but silence. Walk away from those whose only interest is in consuming the light you've nurtured. There are people who only realize the value of what they had after it's gone, but their response isn't reflection. It's bitterness. They are not upset by your absence, but by their inability to replicate the gifts you brought to their lives. Your energy, your support, your unique essence. They relied on it, but never truly saw its worth until it was beyond their reach. Remember this: their anger is not your responsibility. You are not obligated to fill the voids they cannot face. Move forward unapologetically, conserving your strength for those who recognize and cherish it. Life refines your path with precision, using resistance and opposition as tools to expose what doesn't belong in your journey. Those who undermine, deceive, or manipulate you are not burdens. They are the mirrors showing you where the cracks lie. Their actions strip away illusions, revealing the truth of connections that were never meant to last. These challenges are not setbacks, but purification, shaking loose the weak links and false ties that might have kept you in mediocrity. What you've endured was never about breaking you, but refining you. preparing you for connections rooted in strength, trust, and mutual growth. The forces clearing your life are making space for what aligns with your essence. Those who've fallen away weren't losses, they were placeholders, meant only to teach a lesson and move on. Their removal isn't punishment, it's liberation. Spirit has been at work, ensuring that your journey is unimpeded by those who would weigh you down. Cling not to what's gone. Instead, trust the process. What remains will uplift you. What's been removed was never meant to endure. Focus on the connections and opportunities that strengthen and nourish you. The space being created is sacred, reserved for those who truly align with your vision. They tried to dismantle your spirit through lies, coercion, and fear, but their efforts were powerless. As ancient wisdom suggests, no force forged against you can prevail when your foundation is fortified by truth. Their schemes, rooted in low energies of envy and resentment, crumble when faced with your resilience. Their strategies falter not because of chance, but because your energy operates on a plane they cannot comprehend. Every attempt to disrupt you has only exposed their own inadequacies. They cannot harm what is untouchable. Your invincibility isn't luck, it's alignment with something greater. You've transcended their reach, dwelling in a space where their petty tactics can't follow. Their efforts are futile, like trying to grasp air. Their failure forces them to confront the limits of their power. Let them face their reckoning without your interference. Save your energy for the light ahead. Their downfall is already set in motion by their own hands. You are shielded, and as you continue to rise, their reach diminishes. Focus on your ascent, untouched by their chaos, and trust that your path remains clear of anything that does not belong. Refusing to accept what diminishes you is a powerful act of reclamation. It cuts through the illusions others have spun to keep you bound, exposing the fragile constructs they depended on to manipulate and control. Like a dam bursting under the weight of rising waters, your rejection unleashed truth upon their falsehoods, washing away the lies that could no longer hold against your clarity. Your refusal wasn't just defiance, it was a profound act of freedom. By stepping away, you reclaimed the energy they drained and revealed the emptiness of their dependence on you. Their strength was always borrowed, a counterfeit power that unraveled the moment you denied them access to your light. Turning away from their games was both a shield and a mirror, forcing them to confront the reality they worked so hard to ignore. They thrived in the cycles of your forgiveness, exploiting your compassion while offering nothing in return. Your departure dismantled their illusions, shaking the foundation they had carefully constructed to disguise their dependence on control. The waves of your absence left ripples far beyond your own reach, confronting them with truths they could no longer evade. Their downfall was not your intention, but a natural consequence of your boundary, a reminder that your truth is unshakable. Your light cannot be claimed, and your strength stands resolute in the face of manipulation. Rejecting them was not an act of anger, but a statement of truth. It forced them to acknowledge the cracks in their behavior, exposing the void they've tried to fill with false power and control. In the silence left behind, your absence spoke louder than any words could. It showed them their shortcomings, their dependency, and their inability to maintain what they tried to take from you. This lesson was not taught through confrontation, but through the undeniable weight of your rejection. By walking away, you didn't just save yourself, you gave them an opportunity to reflect, though their path forward remains theirs to navigate. By stepping away, you chose growth over stagnation, and in doing so, you transformed your own life. Their anger, their longing, their regret, none of it belongs to you. You've risen above the cycles they sought to trap you in, and their pain is their own to face. The clarity you've gained isn't cruelty, it's liberation. Let them wrestle with their choices as you move forward, untethered by their shadow. If they now see the value of what you brought into their lives, it is a revelation that comes too late. What they once dismissed or drained is now an untouchable treasure. Their longing, their attempts to reclaim you, will fall on the unyielding walls of the boundaries you've built. When they relied on you as an endless source of energy, they failed to see that your kindness was not weakness, nor was your loyalty something to exploit. Now, without your presence, they are left to face their own emptiness. What they squandered cannot be reclaimed, and their desperation to reach you is only met with silence. This silence isn't cruelty, it's the justice of natural consequences. They misjudge the depth of your worth, and in losing you, they've lost the very thing that once filled their lives with meaning. The strength you found isn't fleeting. It is built on a foundation of self-respect and spiritual alignment. No attempts to distort, manipulate, or undermine you can succeed against the clarity you now hold. The energies they relied upon to subdue you crumble under the weight of your growth. Like trying to capture the wind in their hands, their efforts are futile. Their own actions, once wielded against you, now reveal their inadequacies. Move forward without hesitation. Their downfall is not your responsibility. Their longing is not your burden. You are untouchable because you've risen beyond their reach, fortified by a purpose that no force can diminish. Keep your focus forward. The path is clear. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Safeguard your energy, protect your peace, and know this: what you've cultivated is no longer theirs to reach. You've transcended the limits of their influence, and their struggles are not your responsibility. Move forward with confidence, leaving behind what no longer aligns. What they lost is beyond retrieval, and your value is no longer a matter of debate. They may long for you, but the barriers they created now keep them distant. Their fabrications collapsed under the weight of your integrity. Their schemes crumbled against the strength of your resolve, and their fixation only deepens their spiral. While they remain caught in the consequences of their actions, you have risen above, untouched, steadfast, and resolute. You embody the truth that their authority was never real. Rejecting them was not just an act of self-defense, it was the key to your freedom. Each denial you voiced carried the power of universal alignment, severing ties that had drained you. Their downfall is not yours to mourn. It is the direct result of their choices. You were never meant to carry their burdens. You were destined for more than the confines of their manipulations. The universe has greater paths for you to walk, ones that require your clarity and unwavering strength. Step boldly into your next chapter with the certainty of someone who understands their worth. Their remorse is not your weight to bear. Their distortions will never obscure your authenticity, and their lingering shadows will never diminish your brilliance. This is your time to soar, untethered, unapologetic, and empowered. Share your journey, inspire others, and stand as living proof that freedom is achievable, that truth prevails, and that no challenge can overpower your resilience. Your story carries more influence than you realize. Until we meet again, keep ascending.